and to have penetrating and perfect karma is rarely met with even 100,000 million kalpas. Having it to see and listen to, remember and accept, I vow to taste the truth of Tathagata's words.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning. Know your faces.
You got to speak up for the mic over there.
Okay. I'll do my best. First I wanted to tell everybody that Shogun Roshi sends his regards to everyone, and thinking of you all. So he's up there alone today running the show for the morning public sitting. He's been teaching from this book, going through chapter by chapter. It's You Have to Say Something, Katagiri Roshi's book. And so between the two of us, most again, we've been going through it chapter by chapter to the current teaching. So it takes a while to get through this book, a lot of details. So I know your experience, but you read things. I've read this book before. I've read this book maybe more than once. And things don't always pop for you the first time you read it. And I think the experience we have with reading Buddhist texts and stuff, that you can read stuff and just kind of go past it. But after a while, I think it's related to our practice and how our experiential sense of practice, that sometimes you reread things and at that point it becomes clear, something pops out to you. So this chapter kind of popped out to me just for reasons I don't quite understand maybe, but it's one called Throw Yourself Away. And I just like that idea of throwing yourself away. Spend so much time in our lives, fluttering around our daily little stuff that happens, and just kind of fluttering around and get caught up in that. And so what is throwing yourself away? So I'll read a little bit of this. I don't read too much of it, but he's talking about, I'll just jump ahead. He talks about ego consciousness may seem to be strong, but it's actually very weak. It is always going to the right, going to the left, just like a pendulum. Finally, however, your ego consciousness realizes there is nothing to say. At that time, in the realm of nothing to say, you have reached an impasse, a terminating abode. As long as you try to figure out what to do, the situation will get worse. When this happens, just sit down. You come to an impasse to do zazen. To do zazen is have nothing to say about this impasse. But nothing to say about this impasse means your body and mind will become the impasse. Just sit down and take a long, deep breath. That's all you have to do. Sounds simple enough. But we don't know it's very difficult to achieve. When he's talking about that throwing yourself away, dropping what Katagiri calls the gap between self and others, to let go of that, is throwing yourself away. And if you go, he says something here, underlying about full concentration means to merge with zazen. When we do zazen, to merge with bowing when we bow, and so forth. That's important because I've always thought of throwing yourself away, but I've talked about this before, is the idea of giving yourself over to the practice in a way. And so one of the ways I relate to that is through a ritual. We did a lot of your vows this morning, bells are ringing, the ritual. And that's, for American culture, difficult. People come here and it's like, what's all this high mass stuff going on? What's it about? And to me, it's the actual practice of throwing yourself away, giving up your ideas, giving up your things you cling to, giving up the awkwardness, giving up the weirdness of it, just bowing, and just with the bells, just throw yourself away. We do a vow, we give ourselves over to the practice completely, and that is the manifestation of it. In Zazen, we're giving our mind over to later on in our mind, but we also as a mind and body practice. The body practice is giving ourselves over to how we function in the world, how we vow, how we put our shoes down out there when we take them off. All these things are throwing yourself away, paying attention. We talk about that a lot. Paying attention, mindfulness, and there's kind of a difference between. Not so much, but maybe it's to be antagonistic. We talk about being present in the moment, and that is somewhat fundamentally different than mindfulness. Paying attention in the moment is something that you can learn. Mindfulness, or you could say mindfulness is really giving yourself over to the universe, giving yourself over to saving others, helping others. And so it's not, so when we chant in the Fukan Zangi, it says the practice is not learning meditation, if you like. It's also interpreted as not learning concentration. It's much more than just learning how to concentrate. I mean, people take Adderall to learn how to concentrate. It's not a big deal in a way. Mindfulness is something much more vast than that. And it leads to, of course, paying attention to the moment, because you realize that the Shokanosh says your practice is right at our feet. Enlightenment is right here, right now at our feet. That's our practice. So we throw ourselves away in this practice, and we do it. We do it how we manifest it in ourselves today. Well, we manifest it through how we engage the world. I know Suzuki Roshi or Katebe Roshi, I read one time, said something like, I don't pay attention to if my students follow precepts. I pay attention to how they treat others. That's because that embodies the precepts. If you are really giving yourself over to completely the idea of no gap between self and others, and paying attention, taking care of others, the precepts come forth. So you don't have to do this checklist. How am I doing today? I did this, I've done that, going through the precepts. How's my day been going? You don't have to do that. Just give yourself fully the practice, and then naturally those precepts are manifest in how we treat the world, how we treat others. So that's why we come here. We come here to practice together. And anybody that comes long enough to practice realizes the strength in that. Many of us have spent time in our lives practicing alone. It's very difficult. We're lifted up by others' practice. We're lifted up by the energy created by us being together and taking care of each other. Not always good at that, I'm not always good at that. I know my failures in that regard. But sitting. Just one thing about sitting zazen. I sit zazen every morning. Choke and I do zazen in the morning service, and then we eat breakfast, and after breakfast we talk about the day, and maybe we're going to do little secret. Sometimes we lost democracy now on the computer. Catch up on news. But we talk about the day, and frequently, one of us will say, most often him, I was thinking about something during Zazen. I think we should go get these rocks and bring them up, and so, where I think, well, geez, that's something, you're not supposed to be thinking about stuff. What the hell's that about? He's just like he's a Zen master Roshi. He's thinking about building rock walls during Zazen. Come on. And, but this is our practice. We all recognize that. This is, we're not trying to stuff things. Things come forth, things come forth, and taking care of our lives. And so we judge Zazen like, he's not doing Zazen right because he's thinking about something. The only time you stop thinking when you're dead. And he's not dead yet. He's 83 the next week or so he's still thinking. Anyway, I know on people's minds, a lot in my mind certainly, and people I talk to a lot is kind of the events of the last couple of weeks, the tragedies of the killing of young children, teachers, and grocery shoppers. And I think particularly, it's always when children involved, it's always really something that strikes us all because we all know children, either have children or know children. My granddaughter goes to Coles Elementary. It's a Montessori school, and Violet. And the other person that goes to Coles that's close to me is Tina and Brent's daughter, Flynn, who is, I consider, my fourth grandchild. So they have an event at the end of the year that is on Friday. And it's the stepping up ceremony, the kids moving up into the next grade, and also it's just the 8th graders leaving to go on to high school. And so they have this water ceremony where they got to start off with this water. And all the kids have a glass. All the kids moving up have an older glass. They kind of surround the room. Usually it's outside. This year it was inside, and you start pouring this cup. Pours it in, the next person pours it, goes around the room. There's little kids pouring this cup, and the cup is, represents passing on what they learned to the next generation. And much of Montessori school is around peace and negotiation, how to function in the world with others. And it's big emphasis. It's really wonderful. So to see these kids, the ages of the kids that were shot was incredibly moving. I think everybody was in that room and thinking that. See these beautiful, beautiful kids, the ceremony. It was incredible moving. And so it also gives you some faith, We can feel so fatalistic about the world, but what we're doing here is trying to learn how to manifest peace and harmony. That's what Buddhism is about, finding a path to peace and harmony. And it's made difficult by the circumstances in the world right now. But just I want to finish by reading. This is a program from their school, and so I want to read two things. The opening thing was their peace pledge. It said, "I pledge to use my words to speak in a kind way. I pledge to help others as I go throughout the day. I pledge to care for the earth with my healing heart and hands. I pledge to respect people in each and every land. I pledge to join together as we unite, the big and small. I pledge to do my part to create peace for one and all." Incredible. And so that was what he started off, and he ended with, the Peace Pledge Children's version. May there be peace above you and peace below you. May there be peace before you and behind you. May there be peace from your lips and peace from your heart. I don't know if I can get any more Buddhist than that. Or Quaker. They're profound. It was profound to hear that. Those little children in this world. So it isn't just about reading the children hymns over and saying, it's about really where reach the ground is how do we treat each other, and how do we raise our children, to manifest that. I came away hopeful, I guess, about possibilities, and I hope that our practice pays attention to this, that we do our part to manifest it, and to recognize that the problems of the world are the Buddhists are greed, anger, and delusion, and fear, and to see the fear in others, and the way they react, the way that repels us. But it's the same fear that we have attached to outcome, the way they think should be. We all share the same fears, and everybody has it. To recognize how to counter that with something different. Anyway, it's good to be back here. I've had a good few days, a lot going on. My granddaughter Violet goes to school of rock. They're in town. They're having their first concert this afternoon, so I get to play guitar and a little band. So that's what I'm here for this afternoon. So that'll be a lot of fun. I haven't heard her play before, so I have a good weekend. Go back to Manji on Tuesday, I believe. And we've opened up now. We're now having, for the last couple of years, we've been doing kind of an abbreviated third weekend. We always do weekends to Shin. And so we've just been doing like 3 periods on Saturday afternoon. So this last one, we actually had our first full long session, starting on Friday night and ending on noon on Sunday. And I think there were 4 of us, 4 or 5 of us. And so we're just kind of dusting off what we do for that, But that's going to continue now, unless we get another conditions change and stop that. But now we'll be opened up into doing sessions every 3rd weekend of the month. So that's nice. And we've been also doing Thursday night public sitting, and we've had a number of people that are coming regularly to that. So that's been good. So we're still up there, keeping the candle lit, and hope that at some point things get better here. There's somebody or all of you come and visit us at some point and take a break and experience the practice up there. Anyway, good to see you all. Have a good rest of the weekend.
May the merit of this penetrate everything in all places, so that we in every sentient being together can realize the Buddha way. Sentient beings are numberless. I vow to save them. Desires are inexhaustible.